welcome to Creative Events platform. Today I'm making a video on this cap, all about this cap. I'm not designing it. So I'll be telling you the measurement of material that will be required and the process. So the measurement I'm using for a start is 37 inches by length and then 30 inches by width. So after getting the length and the width, you ensure that the width, which is the part you are supposed to be pleating, is the most stretchy part of the fabric that you are using. By the way, the name of this fabric is scuba. It's a scuba fabric, and over here in Delta State where I am based, they call it shining face polo. So I don't know what they call it where you are. It's light, it's not too thick. So I'm starting with 30 inches by 37 for a start. I said for a start because I added to the material. Okay, so now to start the cap, I'll first of all hem the beginning. You can just create a pleat without hemming the beginning, but that wouldn't be a neat work. So if you want your work to be neat, you first of all hem that first part, so it's folded in and is neat. Then I'll take a fold of at least 1.5 inch, which will give me like 3 inches on stretch. So I'll just fold like 1.5 inches in to create the first pleat. Now the way and method this pleat is created is like creating body pleated turban, where you just have to like keep taking a part of it to fold. So this is the first part, which is going to act as the base. By the way, I'm not attaching a separate base, that is band, I mean, to this turban. So to create the next pleat, I'm not going to rest the pleat on top of the first one like we normally do. I'm going to take the pleat separately, like you are seeing in my hand there, and sew it again like I'm sewing the first pleat. So I'm taking it separately. Now, one other thing you must do while you sew this turban is when you take this separate pleat, you fold it out, just say 1.5 inch or 1.5 inch. You give a distance of, let's say, a 0.5. That is like half distance of half inch, you understand, to sew. So the distance between the first pleat and the second pleat you are creating should be like half inch. So it will give it a space to rest on the second pleat, but with a little bit of distance. So it will not be equal. It will not like just keep resting equally on each other. So there will be a kind of a shift. There will be a kind of shift. So it's that shift that will allow these pleats, all the pleats that you will be creating, to be separated from each other. So you give a distance of at least 0.5 while you sew. The remaining part will form the pleat. But you can see the way I'm doing it now, that I'm actually taking each pleat separately and sewing it separately. So by the time you are done, you have all the pleats practically standing on their own. It's very important. Don't pleat like you are pleating like auto gele base and all of that. The pleat has to stand on its own. That's the only way it will come out the way it ought to be. So if you look at this now, every pleat, you see that there is a reasonable distance and every pleat is standing on its own. That's what is meant uh, for it to be. So I'll continue with this process until I'll finish this material. When I finish the material, I added another one to it, same measurement, 30 by 37, maybe a little bit bigger than it, but it doesn't really matter. It's meant to be the same measurement. I use it to continue. The reason that happened was because the fabric I have was just 1 yard. Do you understand? I have just 1 yard of fabric, and the stretchy part was just about, by length, was just, it was short anyway. Let me just say it's not long enough. But if I have 2 yards together, I'll be having enough length. So I'll just cut the length I need at once instead of joining it. So if I have 2 yards together and you are asking me what would have been the preferred length I will use, I think I will say I would have used like 60. Yes, I would have used like 30, which is for the stretchy part. Then the length would have been 60. So if I find out that it's too much, I will cut out of it, but I would have used 60 because the first one I used here now was 37 and it wasn't long enough. I'm only trying to show you the method I'm using to separate each pleat and then sew. You understand? So that's what I would have used. Now, there's something else I wanted to explain. Okay, when you finish your plate, when you finish your plate, how do you know if you need to add or not? How do you know that you should add or you should just proceed with the work like that? Now, when you finish your plate like this, take a measurement from beginning to the end. If you have up to 15, 15 inches, then you don't need to add to it. But if you have less than, the only one you can manage is 14. If you have 14, then don't bother adding. But if you have anything less than that, please do add to it because it will be too short. If you do 12, it will be too short. So you measure from the beginning to where the last, measure from the first pleat to where the last pleat is. If you get 15, then do not add anymore. But if you do not, please add material and ensure that you get up to 14 or 15 inches from the first pleat to the last pleat. Don't stretch it while taking your measurement. You can see that I want to remove my excess now because I already have up to 15 inches, but I'll give a little distance while I'm doing that because it will enable me to join the turban when I now fold it together to close it. I hope my explanations are clear. Okay, I will use this opportunity to welcome everyone that is joining Creative Ends platform for the first time. I want to say thank you very much. And also, I want to ask you to please recommend the channel to others. And then, if you are watching my channel or you've been watching my videos and you are yet to subscribe, please do subscribe. It encourages me and it makes me want to do more. That's it. So thank you very much for your understanding. So now, is this part I'm going to explain is very important. I want you to listen. Now, this cap is not the usual body pleated turban that we want the back to have that drop. You know, there is this when we do body plate, the beauty is that they drop at the back. But this is not that type. So what I want to explain to you now is that you do not need to expand your stitches. So you do not need to like drop this turban. The turban don't need to drop at the back. If you look at it, the pictures I have seen of this turban, every one of it is standing like there is something that is fixed inside. Nothing is fixed inside. It's just the way it is sewn. So now, most importantly, you must arrange this pleat while you close. Don't just fold the turban into two and start closing. You need to arrange it to face the direction it's supposed to be facing. And both of them must face the same direction. So when they face the same direction, when you are done sewing and you turn it over, you will see that the pleat is relaxed. But if you do not ensure that that they are facing the direction they ought to face, by the time you are done sewing, you will not like the results. In short, you will not like the result because some pleats will face down, some will face up. So please take note of that. Now, what I just ruled now is to explain to you how we sew body pleats. You know, we sew the beginning where you just take like the 10.5 inches to close, and then you now expand it to the very edge. That is for body pleated turban. For this particular one, take your stitches from that 10.5 inches you are using to close it for the edge size to the end. Do not expand it to this direction where the first mark is. Take the straight line. That's the only reason you can see that it will stand as if something is fixed inside that is making it to stand, because there's no way for it to fall. You understand? It will not fall because you sew it straight. You did not extend it to the side. It's when we do body pleat that you extend to the side. So because you are not extending it to the side, it will not stand on its own. It will stand on its own. So please take note of that. And while you are making yours, make sure you follow what I've explained, especially if you are a beginner. Making of turban is one of the easiest uh, tailoring work to do, because we are all tailors. Oh. Yes, so you are making turban, you are a tailor. So it's one of the easiest tailoring work to do. We tailor for the head. But just creating the cap is not enough. Designing the cap is what makes you outstanding. Your creative ideas is what makes you outstanding. So this is what I'm trying to explain. You can see that I did not sew on that first line. If I'm making body plate, I will sew on that first line so that the backdrop will be there. For this one, you do not need the backdrop. You just need it to stand as if you are putting something inside first before wearing the cap. That is how it has been appearing, and is lovely. So this is it. I'll trim off that excess part from it. Then I'll come back and do something. So please do not skip this video. Do not, especially if you're a beginner, do not skip this video. You don't need to skip the video. Watch it to the end so that you get the ideas of what you are doing. If you watch properly for the first time, you might not need to keep repeating the video. Just watch properly for the first time. Watch it to the end. Sometimes some people will ask me questions that are in my video and I don't respond. The reason I'm not responding is because if you watch that video to the end, you will not be asking those questions. You just come back and say you did not show us how to do it. I don't understand. There's no part of my video. Anything that I think is important for my learners, I put it there. Why will I skip it? Waiting, I go gain. What will I gain to do that? So I don't. All right. So this is the part I want you to see, that after sewing it, I just ensured that I was able to get the pleats in place first before I will now curve it. I need to give it a curve a little, which will now narrow the back part. It will narrow the back part a little for me, and also it will help me when I try to use the loose stitches, because I'm still going to use loose stitches to pull it together. So when I give it a little slant like that, it will help me to when I use the loose stitches, it will help me to get it right. If not, it will lose shape. So that's just it. All right, so for it now, I'm almost done with this turban. Now one more thing, you can see where I'm starting my loose stitches from. I gave a little distance. I'm not just starting from the beginning. In short, it's almost like I'm starting from the half part of this turban. Do you understand? I'm not starting from the beginning. I started from like half of it because I need that pleat to first of all relax far a little before the back. So this is how it will look, and this is the finishing of the turban. I do hope you enjoyed today's tutorials. If you do, just put a thumbs up for me. I really appreciate it. and I will see you in my next video. See you then. Bye. 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 If you have questions, please don't forget, drop it on the comment section. I will respond to you. Is a promise. Okay. So bye.